The American spouse was able to divorce the alien with the help of her family and caregivers.
Wow.
But the family still lives in fear of retaliation from the alien over the failed marriage fraud scam.
All we ask from you is to show up at roll call every single night with your brothers and sisters in the federal government and to go out and get the criminals off the street. The idea that there is a square inch of blood in this city where a citizen doesn't feel safe is unacceptable. This is Memphis. This is the United States of America, and all that bullshit is done. It's over. It's finished.
Massive immigration fraud busted right in Ilhan Omar's backyard. She, of course, from Somalia, and is very excited to bring in other Somalians and many other foreigners into our country so that she can create a constituency that votes for her in perpetuity. Well, what's interesting now is they have found immigration fraud, not like a couple of cases. 44% of the cases that were interviewed, fraudulent is what they found. Here's the report released over from UCIS, U.S. Citizen Immigration and Services Division of Homeland Security. They say, all right, we're announcing the result of Operation Twin Shield, a large-scale immigration fraud investigation, saying that we've been working with ICE and the FBI. This has been the first of our kind targeted surge of fraud detection, all coming across Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the surrounding areas. Ilhan is right there. That's one of her districts, goes into a part of Minneapolis. Says, we were there looking from September 19th to September 28th. We discovered suspected fraud in 275 cases in that area. Now, this effort was focused on site visits and targeted verification for applicants and these petitioners who wanted immigration benefits if they matched specific risk criteria. Now, the operation aligns with Trump's executive order, and we're looking into benefits that come from immigration if you're married or if you've got family-based petitions, okay? So yes, oh, I need to be here. My wife is a citizen. Okay, fill out the form, all the things. Employment authorizations, parole-related requests, and more. Now, this Operation Twin Shield, was a resounding success. Officers focused on more than 1,000 cases that had fraud or ineligibility indicators. We conducted over 900 site visits and found evidence of fraud, non-compliance, or public safety, or even national security concerns in 275 cases, aka 44% of everybody they interviewed. Almost half the people they talked to, fraudulent or a national security concern. Almost half. So just extrapolate that. Now, as of today, we've issued notices to appear or referred aliens to ICE in 42 cases. 4 of those aliens were apprehended, and there's much more. Now, this also discovered many lies. For example, one alien admitted to fabricating a death certificate from Kenya for $100 to falsely claim the termination of a marriage. Wife is still dead. The spouse is alive. He says she's dead. She's residing in Minneapolis, and she's the mom of his 5 kids. So this dude's like, no, she's definitely dead, so I need some benefits. In another case, an alien is the son of a known or suspected terrorist. And he overstayed his visa. He's like, hey, Dad, how you doing? You gonna blow anything up? Oh, well, no, it's great. College is great. Minneapolis is awesome. I got all this free crap coming in from Ilhan. And was previously found to have engaged in marriage fraud. Wow, just like his mentor, Ilhan. That resulted in the denial of several immigration benefit requests. So in another case, a petitioner admitted to officers that she committed marriage fraud too. It's everywhere. This was only a few hours after swearing that her marriage was bona fide during an interview with our office. So she reversed. In another case, another alien engaged in marriage fraud by taking advantage of an elderly U.S. citizen spouse, elder abuse, including subjecting the spouse to elder abuse and exploitation. Ridiculous. This is a small sample of the immigration fraud that we found. And we're declaring an all-out war on immigration fraud. They should look at Ilhan too. Maybe they are. We'll relentlessly pursue everyone in this case, said the FBI. President Trump has ordered us to leave no stone left unturned. And here's some more from the actual press briefing.
Viewed at the Minneapolis St. Paul USCIS field office just last week, where both he and his American spouse stated under oath that their marriage was legitimate.
Wrong.
The USCIS officers conducting the interview were suspicious. The site visits were authorized the same day. The American spouse ultimately that afternoon admitted the marriage was fraudulent and entered into solely for immigration purposes and withdrew her petition for that alien. This type of same-day action from interview to site visit has really never happened before, and I am incredibly impressed impressed and thankful to the diligent work of the agents who made that happen for the first time, but not for the last time. And finally, I wanted to note, in one case, an alien engaged in marriage fraud by taking advantage of an elderly U.S. citizen spouse, including threats and severe neglect. The American spouse was able to divorce the alien with the help of her family and caregivers.
Wow.
But the family still lives in fear of retaliation from the alien over the failed marriage fraud scam. These are not victimless crimes. Every case of fraud we uncover damages our national security, undermines the integrity of our immigration system, and as I just gave you an example, has real consequences.
And we're glad that they're getting these criminals and fraudsters under control. And there's more from the DOJ. So this came out yesterday saying that they're also now trying to get Oregon to actually hand over the criminal illegals. This is something we've talked about before. These sanctuary cities, when an illegal person is arrested and charged with a crime, they arrest them. And of course, they bring them into custody, hold them, usually book them. In some states, they'll say, we're just going to release you on your own recognizance. Don't even have to post a bond. Some of them will post a bond, but they'll be let go, generally speaking. If you're a citizen, that's the process, right? Get arrested and get released. If you're a non-citizen, in most locations or in most instances, you should be held because you don't have lawful status in the country. So they'll just capture you while you have been allegedly charged with a crime, right? And hold you while ICE can come and verify and then detain you and deport you if necessary. So the cops are kind of the first step. You got charged with a crime. We found you committing a crime. We're going to hold you because you violated our state law. While we're holding you, are you violating federal law? Looks like you are. So now we're going to turn you over to the feds. Pretty reasonable. But the sanctuary cities have said, we're not going to interface with you. We don't have the money to hold them. We don't want to notify you that they're here. So they'd rather just release them and send them right back into their cities so that ICE cannot detain them and remove them. So now they're suing Oregon to say, can you please stop doing that? They're literally releasing felons right back into their streets because they would rather have illegal aliens running around in Oregon than they would actually deport them and hand them over to Trump. So now they're getting sued, or rather they got a petition filed against them. Today, the U.S. Attorney's Office filed a petition to enforce subpoenas that they sent to 4 Oregon counties, okay? They're trying to locate 10 violent felons who are likely subject to removal from the United States. Now, this is even different. Following lengthy prison sentences, okay, so they've been in custody for a long time, Oregon correction officials released 10 violent felons. So it's not like an immediate arrest, booking, and release. They're releasing them from prison. They're likely subject to removal from the United States. They just sent them right back into their cities. They'd rather have them out. Before their release, immigration authorities sent immigration detainers to Oregon officials seeking notification before they released them. State officials did not honor those detainers, like many others, and they released 10 violent convicted criminals back into Oregon, even though the feds wanted them. Criminal alien number 1 was first convicted in 2004, multiple assaults, 60 months in prison. He was also convicted of manslaughter. Wow, amazing. First degree, 150 months, and post-prison supervision. He was released into the community in 2023, even though he's an illegal alien. Criminal alien 2 was convicted in 2013, 3 counts of the R and 3 counts of, wow, another one, with a minor child under the age of 16. These people are friggin'. Criminal alien 2 was sentenced to 90 months in prison. That's it. That's what he got for R-ing and sodomizing somebody under the age of 16 in Oregon. Crazy. He was subsequently convicted of 9 counts of abuse and sentenced to several years to run concurrent, was released into the community in 2022. Federal government says, can you hang on to them? They say, no, we want child attackers released into our society. Criminal alien 3, kidnapping. Wow. He was sentenced to 150 months and was released in 25. Alien 4, criminal mischief and unlawful use of a weapon, released in 23. Another one, 2 counts of sexual abuse. Another one, another R in the first degree. He was released. Criminal alien 7, another R. Bunch of R's in our country who shouldn't be here. Criminal alien 8, 3 counts of the R under the age of 12. This is what these Oregon sick freaks are doing to their own constituency, their own people. Releasing them. Here you go. Justice. They should not be here. They should be detained and removed. Alien 9, another R. Bunch of R's. I thought they were just here to pick crops and do the jobs that Gavin Newsom doesn't want to do. Criminal alien 10, processing and using a fake border crossing card, also robbery, kidnapping, and all the things. And so we're now trying to find these people. They shouldn't be here, and they've been convicted of very serious crimes. They should be removed immediately. But the scumbags in Oregon can't figure it out. They'd rather have them running around, apparently attacking more children because they don't really care about the children. They don't even want them at all. So that's happening. And now we see Stephen Miller and others are driving hard into the paint, as they say. And they're in Memphis. And this was from a speech last night tonight, where we have a new Memphis task force deployed, along with Pete Hegseth and the rest of the crew, to bring law and order to this location.
To the Memphis Police Department, to the officers that I see sitting in front of me, we are about to provide you with a level of support you cannot even imagine. This isn't just a task force. This is a all-of-government, unlimited support operation. ATF, DEA, FBI, ICE, Department of War, every resource we have. And they're not going to be sitting behind a desk at a keyboard. We are sending in real cops with guns and badges to go out with you on the street every single night making arrests. These are people who have taken down drug cartels, kingpins, the worst criminal offenders in the United States, standing with you shoulder to shoulder to shoulder. All we ask from you is to show up at roll call every single night with your brothers and sisters in the federal government and to go out and get the criminals off the street. And if you do that, I pledge to you, we will liberate this city from the criminal element that has plagued it for generations. This is not just a strategy shift. This is an attitude shift. We are not going to live in an environment anywhere where there is a street that belongs to a criminal, where there is a neighborhood that belongs to a gang, where there is any physical space anywhere that belongs to anyone other than the law-abiding citizens and families of Memphis. The idea that there is a square inch of blood in this city where a citizen doesn't feel safe is unacceptable. This is Memphis, this is the United States of America, and all that bullshit is done. It's over, it's finished.
Thank you, Stephen Miller. It is BS, and we're glad to have some actual leaders in charge who are going after the criminals and not releasing child abusers right back into their community, even though they're illegal aliens, because they care more about illegal aliens than they do the children who are getting attacked by them in Oregon. And this is a real policy. You can see it's happening. They had 10 people that they just listed there. Released, released, released. They're not honoring the detainer. And so now they're saying we want to enforce our subpoenas because we have a group of so-called leaders in Oregon who hate their own population. Scratch that. Their American citizen population. They'd rather support illegal aliens in the name of diversity or coexistence or whatever communist idea they've got. And it is leading to children being abused. That's who is in charge in Oregon and many other locations where they're endorsing this sick behavior. But we'll keep our eye on this and see how justice unfolds state by state in Memphis and elsewhere.